clothes. I got to be up at 6. Yo, dog, people are living literally, fam, where they don't get a free moment to think about nothing but what they got in front of them. So you asking them to think outside a box that they don't even know exists. Fam, niggas got 2 jobs. We just said you might have a kid at home or 2 kids at home. You got 2 jobs. Might be in a single parent household. Fam, the mom is on a fucking hamster wheel. You privileged, yo.
Alan's not thinking
You
about
sound like a fucking Republican, yo. Read a book. You can get better. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, yo, dog.
Let's just say that they're on public transportation. I'm saying that because we're in New York.
That hot ass bus.
They don't have AC on the buses?
I don't know.
Oh. You're privileged. You're privileged.
I said it. We privileged.
But I'm just saying, like, Alan, real talk, if you somebody that is on this hamster wheel, you have to think about it. When you're on that train or that bus, you sleep.
True.
You trying to get that little extra 30 minutes. Ain't nobody reading no damn book.
You about to go home to a 3-year-old that's going to drive you up a fucking wall. So that's your
time to yourself.
I think we could take a note from the Mexican culture. Honestly, I'm not even being funny.
How?
Because since I delivered to all warehouses, and most of the employees are Mexican, and that is their first job or second job. They just run shifts all day. If the government would actually would respect them and ask them how they do it, or like we would take a note from how they do it, we would see what you're talking about, like how to get out of it, because they don't have those privileges that we have.
But they also coming from they have a more they have a reality of what life could be like.
I'm privileged.
To compare that is not here. They know what it's like to be in a different country.
The privilege is in America,
and
opposed to
be clear. The longer they stay here, their mind state shifts.
Yeah.
Like I've owned a construction company for 20 years. Fam, some of them niggas are spoiled as fuck now. They came over here because, again, you got to think what some of them are coming from is literally a compacted dirt floor.
Yep.
Like they sleeping on a dirt floor. So now they come here. Some of them, I remember, like you go in basements and niggas just got sheets hanging up and it's a cot and a dresser. So a lot of them, they take their money every day with them because they can't leave it in the spot because the niggas steal it. Right? So they carry their whole net worth around on them at some time. But then that grows. Now they got an apartment. Now they might just be renting a whole room. Now they ain't in the basement no more. They renting a room. And that grows into an apartment. And then this and that. Bro, they start to get lazy as a fuck and entitled just like everybody. The human nature here in America is relaxation, ease of, you know what I mean? Like
peace, rest.
It grows onto them as well. Like
rest be death.
That doesn't exist in India?
I'm going to stop it there. Why do you feel so many people are stuck in survival mode today?
I just think that a lot of people were not taught right. I know that sometimes, like the gentlemen were saying, well, I get it, we're privileged, but I don't think it's a privilege thing. I think it's a privileged mindset thing. So it's a mindset of being taught value. It's a mindset of being taught balance, regardless to what status or financial background you come from, neighborhood or whatever. I've seen the best surviving people today come from nothing. But again, I think it's all about where we choose as characters as we're young and who we choose to be around, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna just digress there so that you can understand where I'm coming from.
It's actually similar to what she was saying. I would say it's because it's lack of awareness, lack of education. If you weren't taught growing up wealth management, wealth building, things like that, how would you know? And a lot of times in our community, we are not taught those things, and those things are kept from us purposely. So
I mean, if you're looking at the cost of living, inflation, if you're looking at the amount of money people are making in the country versus how much production you need to be able to take care of a family, own your own home, own your own house, people are in survival mode because the state of the economy and state of the governments that put people in those positions. So even through the course of time, we've always been survival mode. But I think the quality of human beings were different in today's quality of people. But no matter what, the inflation is up, the price of cost of living is still up, and there's a higher demand on people to live versus you being able to focus on just the quality of life and the quality of friendships and family. So as long as the prices keep increasing, people are going to have to focus more on survival than they can on their actual relationships with people.
America is not a country for old people. And I say that for a reason, just hear me out. Because other countries, if anybody's ever lived in a different country, you would know the pace is a lot different. A lot of people, it's a lot slower pace to live in other nations. Reason is because when you buy your house in other nations, that's your house. Nobody can take it from you. You don't have to pay for taxes. There's nothing else to pay to the government once you finish paying for your house. Here in America, even after you buy your house can still be taken from you, which puts humans in a state of nothing is forever. I have to keep grinding. I have to keep going. America is a country for young working people. When I turn 65, I am leaving this country. As much as I love America, God bless America, I will not be an old person in this country having to work and having to think about taxes and having to think about my property taxes. And I can't keep my house if I don't pay the property taxes. Houses have been taken from people in their 80s because they didn't pay property taxes, even though they paid off their house 30 years ago. That is what's keeping Americans in a state of survival mode. Like, I have to keep going. And if I don't keep going, things can get taken away from me. And other countries aren't like that. That's why he brought up the comparison with the Mexicans. Mexicans don't even work the full day. They work at the beginning of the morning, take a rest, and when the sun is at its hottest, and then go back to work around 5, 6 p.m. You can't do that in America. In America, they're like, once you get up, you got to work that 8-hour shift straight. And then when you go home, you can't even raising kids. There's so many rules and regulations that it makes it so hard to be a parent. I don't want to rant, but I'll just leave it there for now. But I have so much I want to talk about on this topic, but I'll stop there.
Amira brought up a good point, but I'm going to kind of shift it because I think ultimately what I get from it is he mentioned the Mexicans, and when they come here, they adopt the American lifestyle. So most of y'all don't know, but I was born in Jamaica, so I came here when I was young. And they sold us the American dream early for Caribbean people, you know what I'm saying? So coming here, we're like, come to America, land of the free, you can get your dreams done or whatever. And so being here and then visiting Jamaica now, I'm like, they kind of lied. I was free there. And then I came here and became unfree. See what I'm saying? So, and America's number one export is the culture. And the culture is, it promotes, I would say, entitlement in a sense, right? So everyone in America feels entitled. If you can't Uber Eats, it's whack or whatever. If you can't get, if there's not a mall, if you don't stitch your own clothes, and if you don't travel, you don't see how some people live, then you won't understand the concept of like what hard work really is. But I think it speaks to a deeper issue spiritually, just in the sense of like that American culture spreading. And are they purposely trying to make us lazy so the government kind of takes on some of the things that we should be able to do as people? So I think, as Amir says, it's deep. It's really deep. The rabbit hole goes deep on this one. But that's what I think the struggle is. It's the culture itself, and how it promotes itself.
So I wanted to kind of piggyback on what Straight Like That said. I don't think it's necessarily entitlement culture, but when you live in a country that's pretty much as blessed as ours is, you find ways to make things far more convenient. The problem is it kind of goes to what Ali said. The more convenient we made things, they just kept raising the price on us. No matter how productive we got, no matter how much we produce, no matter how much manpower we put into it, no matter how easy we made everything, they just kept driving the price up. And I think that's where to Ali's point, that's where we ran into the problem at. Y'all increased the cost of everything, even though we made everything cheaper to make. It's a whole lot cheaper to do things, but y'all keep charging us more. And when people got to keep when people got trying to keep up just to make ends meet, when your average American don't have $1,000 to satisfy an emergency in this country, of course people are living on edge. You could be broke the next day just off of one illness. Somebody gets sick in your family, you get sick in your family. The water heater goes out, air conditioner go out. You need to, like, or if you live in Texas right now and the storm come through and knock the shingles off your roof, and they telling you it's going to cost you $9,000 to replace it because you got to pay a $9,000 deductible because wind and hail damage is 2 to 3% of your house, 2 to 3% rather than just 1%. And they tell you got to do that just to replace a few shingles on your roof. And then if not, you said what?
You got to pay that type of money on a house that's crappy too.
And then what's tripped out about it is that, and then, damn, I lost my train of thought. Damn, but y'all know what it is, man. And I know what I was about to say. And then what's tripped out about it is that insurance companies can literally come through and tell you, you know what? We had way too many insurance claims in your area. We're not doing no more insurance in your area. And if you're going to do it, we're just going to keep jacking the price up on you. So we live in a country where we made things easier than it's ever been before. We made delivering food easy. We made producing food easy. How they give us cheaper products. My wife was telling me that y'all remember the old hamburger helper meals? Y'all remember it used to come in a box and shit? They said it used to be made with real cheese, and I always wondered, like, this shit tastes different now. It used to be made with real cheese, so you giving us cheaper shit, and then jacking up the price on us. So this is why people on edge. Life costs a whole lot more than it used to, but you're getting paid a lot less than what you used to in comparison to the cost of living.
Everybody made some really good points, but I would say people are stuck in survival mode because they were raised on rebellion and emotions instead of structure and obedience. They wait till they're too old to take advantage of opportunities. The point they become ineligible, like, for example, like the military or something. They follow and surround themselves around people who inspire them to make poor choices that disqualify them from opportunities like committing crime or doing drugs. They reject correction, hate accountability, and think discipline is abuse. So they live paycheck to paycheck, drama to drama, relationship to relationship, because no one ever taught them how to follow order. And in my book, stability requires submission to something greater than yourself. Most people would rather defend their dysfunction than try to fix it.